Hello and Merry Christmas, it's the 25th of December. I hope you're all having a lovely day. Typically I've come down with a cold, but we keep moving, it's Christmas after all. So apologies if this video is a bit nasally. So we've got a final video of our series, What Would You Pick? And of course you're either Team Space Marines or Team Necrons. Now if you weren't aware of the scores already, Team Necrons have basically already won anyway. They've got 13 points to Team Space Marines 11. But as promised, we're going right up till Christmas Day, which is today. And we've got the last comparison video, which is the Canoptek Spyder going up against the Assault Centurion, which was actually a recommended comparison in the comments, so I thought I'd follow up on that one. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So in terms of the points, the Canoptek Spyder is 60 points with potential upgrades, and the Assault Centurion, they're 55 points with potential upgrades. Now both of them have got a decent amount of melee, as well as being able to shoot, and they're both around the same sort of speed, so I thought we'd compare them today. So let's get on with their stats. Looking at the stats here, there's a lot of difference in the stats. I don't think even one of these stats is identical to the other. The Canoptek Spyder is slightly faster, but has a worse weapon skill and ballistic skill, does have a better strength and toughness, and has 2 additional wounds over the Assault Centurion, along with 2 additional attack, which kind of makes up for the lack of weapon skill. And then to cap the stats off, the Assault Centurion has a 2+ armor save as opposed to a 3+. So I'm going to split this one down the middle. I think both of them have got some real key stats. In particular, that toughness 6 with wound 6 with the Canoptek Spyder, but hitting on 3s with a 2+ armor save for the Centurion I think is also very good. As for abilities, Living Metal of course for the Canoptek Spyder because it's a Necron unit, as well as Command Protocols and the Reanimation Protocols. Now Reanimation Protocols is not going to be used that often with these guys. You're very rarely going to get one back because first of all you need to have a unit of at least 2, maybe even 3 of them to have any sort of chance to reanimate one. And then because there's 6 wounds apiece, you're going to have to get a 5+ roll with 6 dice. I have done it in the past previously, but I wouldn't count on it. It's then also got the Explode ability, only a small one though, for a single mortal wound, but then it's got the Scarab Hive ability. So in the command phase, you select a Dynasty Canoptek Scarab Swarm within 6 inches, and you get to reanimate a single Scarab Swarm model. So effectively you're getting 15 points back per turn, replenishing your swarms there, which are of course probably our best unit in our codex. Now there's 2 additional upgrades I wanted to mention here, the first one being the Fabricator Claw Array. So in the end of the movement phase you can repair a single Dynasty vehicle model within 3 inches, and that model is going to regain D3 lost wounds. So that could be your Barges, your Silent King, or either of the 2 arcs. But quite a common mistake that some Necron players do is they think the Canoptek Doomstalker is a vehicle when in fact it's a monster, so you can't be repairing a Doomstalker. Then the second ability is the Gloom Prism. So in the opponent's psychic phase, this Spyder can deny one psychic power as if it was a Psyker. Now of course we don't have any Psykers in the Necron Codex, so it's one of the very few ways of actually being able to shut down some sort of psychic abilities, although it is just one single deny after all. As for the Assault Centurion, Angels of Death because he's a Space Marine, so the combat doctrines, the Shock Assault, and Thou Show No Fear. Even the Bolter Discipline because it is an infantry model, and there is a rapid fire bolt weapon available, which we'll go over later in the video. You can use the combat squad ability if you take 6 of these guys, split them up into 2 units of 3 during deployment. And then the unique ability is the Omniscope. So when you're making a range attack and you've got a Centurion Sergeant within the unit, then the target will not receive the benefits of cover. But for me, that Scarab Hive ability, pretty much the reason why you're bringing Canoptek Spyders, so I'm going to be giving the point to the Spyder there. Now as for damage output, now the Spyder does have a ranged weapon which is a particle beamer. You will have to pay 5 points per model to take one of these, but it's 18-inch range, assault 6, strength 5, no AP, 1 damage. And then it's got the Ultimatum Claws, which are the melee weapon at strength +2, making it strength 8, -3 AP and 2 damage. So what I've done here is I've combined the range and the melee damage as if you were taking the particle beamer, and this is roughly what it's going to be doing. So between the 2 weapons you're going to be taking out 5 Guardians, 2.5 Space Marines, or doing 3 damage to a toughness 7 vehicle. Doesn't seem like much to be honest, partly due to the fact that it's got a weapon skill and ballistic skill value of a 4+, but it is what it is. That's coming from one single Canoptek Spyder. Now as for the Assault Centurion, they come with 2 Flamers and the Siege Drills. So the Flamers of course 12-inch range, assault D6, strength 4, no AP, 1 damage, automatically hitting, which you'll roughly get around 7 hits with those. And then the Siege Drills are strength ×2, making them strength 10, -4 AP and 3 damage. So when you combine both of those together, you also kill 5 Guardians. You do slightly better off with the Space Marines. Instead of doing 2.5 you're killing 3 of them, and you're doubling up against toughness 7 vehicles doing 6 damage. That's mainly due to the extra AP and extra damage that the Siege Drills have. So I'm going to be giving the point to the Assault Centurions. Now of course there is some upgrade options as well which we haven't even spoke about. I'll just briefly mention them now, they've already won the point anyway. So you can take a single Hurricane Bolter, 24-inch range, rapid fire 6, strength 4, no AP, 1 damage. so potentially 12 shots with that, but it will cost you 10 points per model, and it's a really good anti-infantry weapon. Then furthermore, you can replace the 2 flamers for 2 melters for 5 points each, so there'll be 10 points for a model. Bring 2 melter guns, 12-inch range assault 1, strength 8, -4 AP and d6 damage, and of course within half range it'll be d6 plus 2 damage, which is the melter ability associated with that weapon. But they've already got the point for that, so let's move on to the synergy. Now neither of them have got the core keywords, they're not as synergizable as some other units within their codexes. But I'm going to start off with a stratagem for the Canoptek Spyder, which is Enslaved Protectors. For a command point, they can effectively heroically intervene as if they were a character, not too bad. And the stratagem available for the Assault Centurions is also one command point, it's the Assault Launchers, because they get the Assault Launcher keyword unless you replace the weapon with a Hurricane Bolter. Now I don't rate the stratagem if I'm honest, but I'll let you know what it does. So at the start of the charge phase, you select an enemy unit excluding vehicles and monsters within 9 inches of the model, and the enemy unit can either brace or duck for cover. And if they brace, they just simply suffer D3 mortal wounds, and if they duck for cover, then until the end of the turn it's a -1 to their attacks characteristics, and they cannot also fire Overwatch or set to defend. Now don't get me wrong, in certain situations that can be really powerful, but it's not for me. We've got something similar with our Doom Scythe, and I very rarely use it. As for some unit synergy, you've got a Librarian with a Psychic Fortress to get your guys on a 5+ invulnerable save, or alternatively you can use the Null Zone to remove an invuln save from enemy units that within 6 inches of the Psyker, so your siege drills are doing absolute bits. Just make sure you're fighting first if you do so. You've got the Apothecary with the Combat Restoratives to be healing up D3 lost wounds for the units because they're an infantry unit, and they can also get the Narthesium Aura for a 6+ feel no pain save, and of course the Combat Revival stratagem for a command point to be bringing one of these guys back each and every turn, which also will be free of charge if you're taking a Chief Apothecary there. Then the final bit of unit synergy is the Judiciar. If you want to be fighting first, you take one of these guys within 3 inches of enemy models, that way you guys will always be fighting first in that phase. Now as for synergy with the Canoptek Spyder, in terms of unit synergy, of course you've got the Scarab Swarms as mentioned. With that Scarab Hive you could be bringing a model back each time, and with that Fabricator Claw Array, as also mentioned, you want to be healing up your vehicle models. A Technomancer's got a bit of synergy, either taking the Canoptek Cloak to be healing D3 lost wounds to your Spider. They can also take the Phylacterian Hive, which is a Cryptek Arcana, so Canoptek units can be used for the Rites of Reanimation ability, because as mentioned already, they're not a core unit, it's bringing one of these spiders back once per battle. Now the common combination that the Technomancer normally uses with the spiders is taking the Control Node, giving the spiders a +1 to their hit roll, and then taking the Failsafe Overcharger, Cryptek Arcana, and of course the Canoptek Spyder's got the monster keyword, so they're going to be adding D3 attacks per model, and of course as we already mentioned with that Control Node they'll be hitting on 3s as well. Then the final bit of synergy is the Chronometron ability on a Chronomancer, just to give them a 5+ invulnerable save, and they can reroll their charge roll. So for me neither of them have a massive amount of synergy, however I'm going to give this one to the Canoptek Spyder, specifically for the Technomancer and the Chronomancer, but when you start to add the Scarabs and the vehicles as well, there's quite a lot there for them. Then lastly we're on to the Resiliency, and of course there's Living Metal on the Spider because it's a Necron model, bringing a wound back each turn. When it's already got 6 wounds, that's pretty good. Then we've got to look at the actual stats itself. Toughness 6 with wound 6 is pretty beefy. Now they do only have a 3+ armor save as opposed to a 2+ armor save, but I don't think the Centurion's got enough to win the Resiliency, so I'm going to also be giving that point to the Spider. So all in all I've scored this 4 points to 2 in favour of the Canoptek Spyders. In some aspects they have a similar role, but in others they don't, so we're going to be giving this video and this victory to the Canoptek Spyder. So that puts the final tally with Team Necrons on 14 points and Team Space Marines on 11 points. Now these videos are just light-hearted at the end of the day. We could have chose completely different topics, we could have chose completely different units, but we've done what we've done and this is what we've come up with. So guys, what you'll have to do in the comments below, let me know how you scored the entire series. I want to know what your scores are and see how they differ from mine. Everyone's got their own opinion at the end of the day. I'm just one opinion, you're just one opinion. We've all got our own playstyles, and this is just a bit of fun after all. So guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. We will be taking a slight break from YouTube, spend a bit of time with the family and whatnot, so we'll be seeing you in the new year with some new Necron videos. Other than that guys, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next year.